Hey everybody, this is John, Red Meadow Knives. I'm going to do a video on stacked leather. I get asked a lot about this. I do it kind of different. Everybody does it different. It's not the right way or the wrong way, it's how I do it. So, if you got any questions after this is done, shoot me an email or leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll answer whatever. I'm an open book. This is going to be boring. Warning. Boring material ahead. If you like stacked leather, then stick around. If you're not interested in it, I would suggest clicking on a video of, I don't know, cats doing backflips or something. So, let's go over stacked leather. This is a knife that I made a while ago. I use it in the garden. I'm rough on it. I beat on it. It gets hosed off with a garden hose when I'm done, and stuck in the wall of the shop between the pegboard and the stud wall. That's where it lives. So let's go over, like, not the history, but a little bit of what I've found about stacked leather knives, what people don't like, and the experience with them. Well, you hear a lot, oh, they fall apart, they're not durable, they won't hold up. Every old one I see is falling apart, and the leather is shrinking and everything else. That's an issue, and I think the problem is, most stacked leather knives that we know about were made back in the day, kind of mass production. I think the leather was compressed to a point, but not enough to prevent shrinkage. And then also, they got thrown in a the granddad's shop, and sat in a toolbox for 40 years, and then people found them and went, oh, look at this is cool. But I think if you're interested in stacked leather, the point of them is really the warmth and the grip of them. They can be wet, oily, bloody, whatever, and they're going to have good grip, even if they're compressed like the way I do it. You see a lot, people say, oh, well, they're great if you soak them in super glue, cyanoacrylate, or if you epoxy, or have them stabilized, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's all fine and dandy. But in my opinion, you kind of defeat the purpose of stacked leather, and that's the warmth and the grip of it. So there you go. What I do is I make blocks. It turns out pretty durable. I compress them. I've used a vise. I've used hydraulic press. A vise is good enough. What I do is I soak them, and I'll go over that process in the next video. This is just going to kind of be a breakdown of how I do things. But yeah, I don't know how indestructible you need a knife handle. G10 and micarta is all fine and dandy. It's great. Leather is light, comfortable, and freaking awesome. It's really a great handle material. I think a lot of people think like, oh, well, no, that's an old way. No, now we've got technology. Well, I don't know how much technology you need in a damn knife handle. Comfort's pretty important. I'm sure a tungsten knife handle or titanium or shoot, you could get with NASA and figure out some kind of badass super material that costs a fortune and will withstand the freezing temperatures of space. I don't think that's really important. So, if you don't agree with me, that's all fine and dandy. The way I do it, right now I'm doing 8 knives that need a section of stacked leather. The traditional way, or not the traditional way, but the way most people do it is they'll go online and buy discs, little washers that are already pre-cut, and they'll stack those up and then compress them. A lot of times you'll see, and there's nothing wrong with it, the lines are a little bit, the lines won't be even. They'll be kind of wonky, and things will look kind of sloppy. That's because they're not oversized washers. They're usually pretty close to the size of the handle, how it's going to end up. So when you do that, when you build these blocks, you're going to have a lot of waste on the edge. That's not even 3/8 right there, but you'll get some waste on the edge, and that's where the discs will overlap, and they'll kind of they'll kind of mash into each other. So when you cut that, you'll have those wavy lines. The further into a block you get, you know, the more even your lines will be. The compression's better, and they don't have a chance to warp over each other on the ends. So, yeah, oversized. So basically, if you need, like in the ones I'm doing right now, I need about 1 inch by 1 1/4 inches. That gives me enough space. So I'm going to have, you know, I'm going to have a handle that's kind of oval and 1 inch wide and 1 1/4 inches long. So before I shape it, I'm going to end up with a block about like that, right? So to get tight lines in that area, I need to oversize that block just a little bit. So that's what I'm going to cut off. That's going to be all that wonky overlap, which if you do it right, you're not going to have that much. So if you're doing one handle, it's wasteful because you're cutting off 4 sides of the block. So if I were to do 8 individual pieces, I would waste a lot of leather. So what I do is make you know, blocks. So for example, I need 8 pieces. I'm going to make a block big enough to cut 8 blocks out. Now, the nice thing about this is your waste is only on the outer edge, because this can all be cut with a bandsaw, so you don't have to, you don't have that waste around every side of each block. You just got it around the perimeter of the whole thing. So, yeah, let's say these are going to be 1 inch, so 1, 1, 1, 1. It's going to be 4 inches. I'll leave probably 3/8, maybe a little more on the sides. Let's say 3/4 of an inch. So I'll probably go 5 inches. Err on the side of caution. A 5-inch block. These are going to be 1 1/4 inches. So that's 2.5. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll probably go about 3 inch. Yeah, maybe a little over 3.25 inch. 3.25 inch block. Yeah, so I'll go 3.25 inches by 5 inches, and that'll be stacked. Now, how many you need depends on the thickness of your leather, obviously, and it's just a matter of, it's a simple matter of math. You take your, you know, take a piece of leather and your calipers, and we'll get into that in the next video. But usually, they're about 1/10 of an inch, plus or minus. But then just kind of do the math and figure out how many stacks you need. The important part here, and you guys are gonna have to forgive me, I'll ramble about this. So if you got questions, just ask in the comments, and I will answer. Shoot me an email, redmeadowknives@gmail.com. So the compression is about, depending on what you use, 60 to 75% is what you're going to end up with. So if you stack up 5 inches of leather, you soak it the way we do it, and compress it, you're going to end up with about a 3-inch block, right? So that'll compress down. Yeah, 60% is if you're using a vise and really cranking on it, you can get it down to 60% of what the original height is. 75% is probably a pretty good estimate. So like I said, I need 3 inch on these. Yeah, I need a 3-inch block for these handles. So I'll cut 5-inch stack high. So this is going to be 5 inches, you know, wide by 3 inches wide, and then by 5 inches tall. That'll get compressed down to a block. We'll go into that, like I said, when we get cutting. It'll make more sense later. I could ramble about that all day, and it wouldn't freaking make any sense. But if you guys got any questions about this stuff, let me know. I like stack leather. Like I said, it's warm. I don't know if that's going to focus or not. But good lines on a knife, that's important. It shows conditioning. I'll go over that in the next video. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.